Good evening, afternoon, or morning to you, Jesters Court. This is Coach Dub, Warren Sprague of Del Sol Performance Academy, coming to you to continue our ongoing march to Championship Day here at High School Jesters' 12th year of improvisational performance. We've gone all digital this year, and just like the pattern has established, we will continue to be digital as we break down this week's Sweet 16 round of playoffs. That's right, our second round of playoffs, the first in which every single remaining team got to bounce up and do some improv for you to help find out who's going to the Elite Eight. And we have our answers right here, right now, tonight to help us hype that up. Let's bring him in. He's the king, the man with the plan, King Kopy. Dun, da, da, da. What's up, Cope?
What's going on?
Sir.
Hey, happy WrestleMania weekend.
Oh no, you caught me. Yes, instead of sitting
Right
in.
there.
Oh, look at
I
you! You
did
are
it.
my friend. You
I
are
did
so.
it.
Are you an Undertaker guy or a Shawn Michaels guy? I think we already know the answer. We've said it on the show
Yeah.
before, but go.
Well, it's hard not to respect, love The Undertaker, but I've always historically been a Shawn Michaels guy.
Yeah, yeah,
So
I'm with you too. I mean, the sweet chin music. Can you talk about a finishing maneuver that set up more guys for big losses than any other? I don't know. Maybe that Tombstone Pile Driver. But hey, let's talk about some improvisational finishing maneuvers. We've had plenty to enjoy this week from all 16 remaining teams. Eight wonderful matchups. We're going to be breaking down every single one, what the judges thought of those experiences, and who is moving on to round three. And we've got a week to give you some more improv for some of us, Kopy. It's going to be interesting how quick these coaches turn around and put together some more masterwork. But hey, to the whole league listening in, whether you're part of an already eliminated team or a soon to be eliminated team or another team advancing this week, we want you all to know that you matter. Your creativity matters. What you've done matters. This matters to us. It's been a pleasure watching your improv. I took 32 pages of notes, Kopy. The background is ruining the image, but it's real. I really watched these. I can't wait to talk about all of these students who crossed the stage this week and give a little love with you. So, sir, without further ado, tell us about the Sweet 16 and maybe the judging crew who took a look at these games for you.
yeah, I mean, backing up all the stuff that you just said, it's bittersweet every week, especially come playoff time. And because I spend so many extra hours editing and getting these videos in and talking to coaches and whatnot, I don't know, it just saying goodbye to seniors and whatnot. It hits me. So doing it again this week. And if in all dramatic fashion, 6 out of 8 of these shows were split decisions. 6 out of 8.
Well,
Yeah.
that tells me that no team is safe as we march forward towards championship day. You all have a shot to win it, including the 16 still standing right now. So I hope you all have your chins held high. This sounds like it was a competitive week of improv. Kopy, the judging, were they the same judges? Do we have John and Roxanne and Bailey and back?
So,
Darn it. Sorry,
yes,
meh.
in the first round of the playoffs, I did want to get coaches as judges. So coaches who didn't necessarily have an opportunity to coach this year, but who've been coaching with us for a while now, just because of COVID and whatnot. This week, I wanted to get judges who haven't had a ton of online experience, but were all graduated Jester royalty.
Stephen
Um,
Rakicka. That's who it was. Thanks. Moving forward.
you're right. Yeah, so all graduated Jester royalty. So um, the one of these judges has about this much online improv experience from just during COVID, and the rest of them, this was all brand new for them to digest.
That judge, did their eyes open wide, realizing what you can do in online improv? There had to be some strong examples for them to be blown away by.
I think all of them went whoa. I mean, in general, but
Good.
also because this was all new to them, their bar was at a different level than maybe we were giving because it's really different. It's not exactly the same. Um,
Oh,
so
interesting.
it was very interesting to go through this all with them. But these five judges are all five that I love dearly, as I do anyone who goes and comes back and helps. And so let me introduce you to who your five judges were this week,
Bum, ba,
as
bum, five.
I share my screen because I'm good at technology.
Five
War-
judges.
Warren, can you see?
I can see Kopy Kopatic has started screen sharing. I see nothing else.
Oh,
Oh, there we go. That's why.
now do you see?
I see a Tirza Wine Set, MVP of Jesters. Yes, formerly.
Yeah. Here's a 2017 league MVP and 2016 most improved performer. Tirza's done a lot in this league, and Tirza's been coaching as well.
Yep.
This year, because of COVID and whatnot, she didn't get a chance to get her team going at her school. So she did help out a little bit with LVA, and just kind of at random requests. So she was the one that got just the dose of trying some things online.
Yes.
But she got to help us judge this week.
Great choice. We said it before. Arguably the greatest female competitor we've had in Jester's history.
Well, then let me combat that with some more. Our next judge.
Aw, Mama Liz! Yay! My first leadership member, if you don't mind being so bold, the pioneer of my student coaching experiments. Yes. Oh, Liz means the world to me. Great to see her. Did she enjoy what she had to see?
Absolutely. I love Liz as well, and she went on to help at UNLV Improv.
Yep.
She's always had that natural leadership role, and I would say all five of these judges definitely have very strong brains, and sometimes even in front of what they can do ability wise. And Liz's brain was always a mile ahead of her. So
Totally agreed. Yeah, perfect synopsis of Liz as a person.
So yeah, loved having her judge this week as well. What was weird is these five girls didn't all necessarily know each other, so it was just neat to see a little time overlap and whatnot.
Liz is the type of person who would be blown away by the stardom level of a Tirza, probably. I bet that was probably fun at first, but maybe I'm thinking of Liz of old. New Liz is like she's got life. She's good.
Yeah, all these girls got life, man. Well, judge number 3.
Yeah, give me some more familiar faces. I love familiar faces. Oh my goodness, is that Megan Sweeney?
That is Megan Sweeney.
Oh, that's super cool. Another MVP candidate for us, and somebody I got to coach in their senior year. Man, what a fun or was it their senior or their junior? I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, I don't remember which year you were with her, but she was a 4-year player, all-star, main stage, MVP nominee. I mean,
Yep.
Megan also did just about everything, and she still just has that dry, witty, like she's the funniest one in the room every time you're with her, and still that way. Happy to finally get her back in some capacity to do some work with us, and she was more than happy to jump in. So
really glad you picked this photo from 2017. I only know it.
I didn't. They did. So Megan gave me this photo to use.
It's a rare beardless Pete photo if you're looking in the background for anybody for Pete Jeffries, Jester's coach of years past. And of course, Thin Kopy is making an appearance. That's Kopy, guys.
Yeah, minus the beard as well.
Yeah, just the beard. No other part of your anatomy has grown.
I lost the esters on the hat. This is Melissa Clackham.
Yeah, I was gonna need your help. That's a glow-up shot. I don't know if I've ever seen Melissa's photo with this era. What's this?
Melissa Clackham is also a former All-Star, main stage performer. She got to feel what it was like to have a nice playoff run when she was a part of the Bonanza team under the Brent years.
Yes.
Clackham has judged in the past, so being able to judge in this vein was a little different for her. But that was important to me too, to get at least a couple of people who've had a little bit of judging experience in here, not just brand new judges.
Sure.
So Clackham's been helping us out in the past, and I was happy to have her back.
Lovely. And we got one more by this count. I'm going to take a stab and guess. Oh, I don't know. Oh, I should have. Of course. Go ahead, Kopy. Reveal to all of us who this is.
This is Haley Reno. Also, main stage, all-star, MVP nominee, Tuacon performer, Tuacon champion when they won the championship in 2018. Haley Reno just loves this stuff, man.
Yes.
Loves this stuff. It's deep in her
Yes.
bones, and
Yes.
she wanted to judge so bad.
So
And
much energy comes from Reno.
oh yeah,
Oh, tons.
absolutely. So
Reno's
go ahead.
I was just gonna give some love. Hasn't Reno kind of done well in the social media atmosphere lately?
You know, I've maintained a decently close contact with her, and she got to work on the special project team. She would drive down every week to do that from Utah, from St.
Amazing.
George.
Yeah.
So yes, she is social media, whatever you call it, but I don't social media, so I don't know exactly what it is. But I think she kind of appreciates that about me, is that I just know her as her,
Sure.
and she obviously now has a life that she leads because of social media.
For sure. It's wonderful that she took the time to come and hang out the league. An awesome person to certainly bring in, as all five of these ladies are. Very cool that they got their eyes on the improv this week. And I don't know, man. I'm not sure. Is that the green light? Is this where we advance our scene into the bracket?
We do. So
I'm so
those
excited.
those are our five judges. This is our bracket that we are
Oh,
going to talk about, and we're
yeah.
just going to go in order because why not? Which means you're in the hot seat, sir.
Yeah, I think that's a great place to start with Del Sol and Clark. First thing I want to say before we even talk about this show is thank you, Clark. I wanted this week to be fun. I wanted us both to walk in ready to have fun and just let us go loose. Nick Jarrell and I got on the phone, Coach Nick, and we quickly drew up what we wanted to do. I threw the ideas by my kids. They've been flexible all year, and we moved forward. So I love the lineup we put together. I thought the suggestions we tossed were fun, at least on paper. So we were all set for some fun improv. And as I watched this show, you know, I gotta say that there was just so much to appreciate from both teams. Right from the opening coin toss, Robin had some great classy behavior, giving us a nice throwback reference to a game called the Do Rap Rap. We haven't heard of that in 365 legitimate days. Like, what is the rap? I don't know.
Right, right.
Marlene made a Megtosis reference, which made me miss my Megan Minner days being a coach of Megan. But I love how much she's been involved with the league, and it was great seeing Megan a little later on in today's show,
Yep,
playing alongside her Spring Valley students.
right.
Definitely fun. So love knowing that Meg is still with us.
When we were judging, Megan was here working, helping with staff stuff, and came over and had a chat with Liz. And yeah, it just fun to see the years intersect.
Right. You want to talk about students? Yeah, Megan evoked a little bit of Liz for me, but had a little bit more. I don't know, snap, snap, snap than Liz likes to do. Liz is more like clap, clap, clap. You know what I mean?
Yes, I do.
So we open with sideline debate, and Kopy, this week I literally have notes about every game. So if you want to share notes about the game as we go, I mean, or if you want to stop me, like we got to have some cool cues. As a matter of fact, quick shout out to the only other team that I know of that played a miming game this week, Cheyenne. They did a six things where there was a chain murder game where they would verbally communicate that they got it by going woo. And I love that. I totally was like, cool coach note there. Woo. So if you ever want to shut me up, Kopy, just woo. I don't know.
Believe it or not, there's a lot of miming games this week that I was surprised by as a
It's
general
true.
overall note. Was not expecting that. So interesting, league. What are you saying? But yes, whoop is what is the call that they make. Whoop.
Yes. I
Yeah.
like that. That's Cheyenne's, right? During chain murder.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of teams do that this year. But Chain Murder is the exclusive whoop.
Oh, good,
Uh,
good to know.
I think Eva at Eldorado, I think she called it whoop. Like she didn't call it Chain Murder, she called the game whoop.
Oh,
Yeah,
interesting.
I think is that what it is? I think it's yeah.
Well,
I think that's what yeah.
I dug it for this because a lot of communication within teams in miming is so important. That's what's made it really tough for this because when digital improv staggers as far as your Wi-Fi connection is concerned, you can have a long gap in your miming, and it just makes everything so much harder. So that whatever you can do to simplify your communication is great. And with sideline debate, Del Sol, I coach did not pick this. I wanted my kids to play what they wanted to play. That's how I approach this as much as I can. I'm like, okay, tell me what you want and I'll get you ready. Robin really wanted to guess her way through at least one more round of sideline debate. And that's what we saw. I wanted to make sure she had something to talk about. So I got a suggestion for an argument. And that's why Red Vines was the constant theme of what Robin kept coming back to. And I thought she did a super admirable job of that. I love Del Sol's teamwork for indecipherable. That was the first word that they shot for, and everybody got involved. Max, Christian, Mia, everybody took turns. It wasn't selfish. There was no lag. I love that. Um, there was huge communication and added energy here. When there was positivity, we heard it. I kind of gave Christian the note that great performers in this game let their frustration overrule the gibberish sometimes, where you like just sneak it in. I think if any of our students were allowed to be that kid, I thought Christian could be, because his effort's always there. So I'm like, put in the best effort you can, but when you get frustrated, let those words just kind of leak, because I think we'll giggle more. And I think we giggled more in this than I mean, when I'm filming it, I'm like, okay, kids time, I'll watch it later. You know what I mean? But after the fact, going back and watching, I thought they did a respectable job speeding through that sideline debate for 2 of the 3 words. Very proud of them. No real drag. So I was really glad we got to do that. Hopefully Robin feels good about how it went. I know Mia really broke up a lot of different words in that situation. Mia wasn't previously a mime. Mia likes to talk. So taking that role was great and did it without a hitch. So fun game. Then on Clark's side with quick change, I mean, the hot dog vendor, corn vendor, and donut vendor all on the same corner made me giggle. Litzy's children's show jokes were so much fun. Taking that whole which one should I try? The elote? Or the just that classic stuff. Mallow did the same thing, really jumping on that. That was cool watching them really play with that idea. We transitioned into Batman. Batman eats elotes was a great line for me that made me laugh. I think that was Marlene, I'm hoping. Or no, that was Litzy. And then Nahome was the penguin, I think, doing with his hand. And I was like, it took me a second to figure it out, but I got it. And bless you, Nahome, who, by the way, man, Clark, I like Nahome. He's so fun. I get it, Kopy. I really do. He's so fun. He doesn't stop. He's got a motor and it goes. And in another game later on, I'll really point that out. Mallow doing the Food Network. When we transitioned into that, it was the perfect time to bring up Marlene's comment about everything tasting sad. And that was a funny moment because Mallow doesn't really speak negativity. So when he's the food critic and he's finally talking trash about something, I was like, that was really fun for me to watch. The good cop, bad cop, and then sad cop for Mallow. And Nahome's like, can you bust out of it? Can you get out of it? No. And Mallow's like, no. Good commitment there. And Nahome, I love how you just be real and be like, man, you're not very hard at all, are you? Like, that made me laugh. Very nice. Mallow was on fire in that quick change game. Which is cool because I think everybody got moments to shine a lot, but Mallow really stole that one for me. Funny game with a lot to respect from their minds. I think this was a great chemistry week for Clark. I think it showed that they were really swinging for the fences. Chris, with the phone booth, we jump into the phone booths. Weren't the phone booths fun? Like back and forth.
I thought I thought
I
phone
get
booth was a good reflection of both teams for the whole show. For me, it was a good translation for all the games, and I think
cool.
both teams you got to see a ton of personality of everyone's personality. It just
Mm-hmm.
nice to see how confident Clark has become. Nice to know what your Del Sol babies can do. Like that's what phone booth was for me on both sides.
That phone booth for me, what I loved, I was talking with Nick about it earlier today. Couldn't help but share some additional notes. There was one thing that we both talked about that we kind of wish could have happened for Clark, and that was having the cameras on when they weren't conversing. That's something Del Sol chose to do because you never lose that visual if you're on stage playing this game. And it made a big difference because it was during those downtimes that Max ate his bow, or that Robin's hair went everywhere, or that Mia's typing on the keyboard was visible, right? Like that stuff that drove their characters home was visible when they weren't talking, and that's
Mhm.
important. So I thought that moment was a big thing, like a big difference between the games. But to Clark's credit. I mean, Nahom's egg finding character was brilliantly done. How the beginning was simple locations for the eggs, culminating in these crazy, nonsensical, out of this world justifications for egg hunting. Like, genius. That's what you should do. Um, and I love the moment where Nahom's like, "Oh, I won't do that to the old lady. I can't do that." Like I was like, "Cool, thank you, Nahom. Don't pop an old lady in the middle of the scene. We don't want that." He had this one run on about eggs where he like paused and watched TV in the conversation for a second, then came back, and I was just like, "What cool creativity!" It felt like he literally had the conversation before. Litsy's dark twist on Nemo. Oh my goodness. That made Jarrell laugh out loud, and I just got to say that might say something about Jarrell. If he laughs at feeding Marlin to Nemo, let's think about that, okay? And Mallow is a phenomenal performer. Another really fun one. Your commitment in this one, Mallow, so good. I've enjoyed watching you grow so quick and do so much for Clark. It was just crazy. I'll talk forever. What about, do you want to say anything about Del Sol's backwards scene, or you want to skip over to a Clark parallel universe, or do you want to skip over to our dime store novel? Like, I literally have notes for everything. I will talk to you until 3 a.m.
Yeah, no, I know, but I don't know if kids want to wait that long for a reveal.
I
I,
hear you. I'm
you,
trying.
I think from the judging standpoint, judges enjoyed this, and there were definitely some gut bursting laughs on the judges' side of this show. This also was a split decision on the
Oh,
judges,
okay.
and a super close score. And I'll talk about that in just a second. But yeah, I mean, just you're hitting a lot of great notes with everything that you're saying as far as who did what and where. Everyone had value to add here,
Yeah.
and that's what you want. Is you want everyone to be able to contribute. The one note that we talked about as judges, I mean, kind of in general, this whole week is sometimes one of our teammates might not give a whole lot or seem to give a lot. Maybe they're that teammate that says one line the whole time. And in how much is that line valuable is what we were trying to evaluate as well.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it isn't, sometimes it's the thing you need.
Mm-hmm.
So everything that happened in this show for me was valuable. And I think the judges agreed there, but we split.
Wow. I'm definitely on pins and needles. The fact that the split happened doesn't surprise me. We had, like you said, 6 of the 8 matchups be that way. Again, Clark, thank you for the show. Del Sol, thank you for your effort. I don't know what's about to happen. I'm expecting that the better I mean, go ahead, Kopy. What am I supposed to do? I'm literally sweating.
Yep, I'll take it. I got you.
Thank you. Help me.
So the most that you can score combined for judges is 360 points. Now, 360 points is a lot of points, right? The difference between 300 points and 100 points is what? 200 points. So a lot of points can get accumulated in these shows.
I'm too stressed to do math.
Well, I'm just trying to emphasize because it will be important for all of these shows. So this show not only had a split judges decision, it was only separated by 6 points.
Oh my goodness gracious.
6 points, that's it.
Holy cow.
So, as I reshare the bracket,
Oh gosh. Okay, Clark. Guys, Clark, I love you guys. You're a legacy team with me. We go way back. Your coach is one of my favorite people. I talked a little trash here for a second about giggling at Nemo, but the thing is that Jarrell's a sweetheart, one of great human beings, great coach, great program. Love Clark. Del Sol, you're my team. So yeah, love you all. If this is goodbye, then I'm going to throw up, but I'll be ready for it. Let's do this.
throw up on camera. Here we go. So,
Oh,
moving on to the Elite Eight into the next round of the playoffs
oh
is
gosh.
Del Sol.
Thank you again, Clark, for the show. What an amazing experience it has been watching Clark grow this year. Again, I having Haley Garcia over there to hang out with you is a thing that, Haley Garcia is my student coach here at Del Sol. I've said before, we share her. So we are friends. My heart goes out to you, Clark kids who step away. You had an amazing year and an awesome playoff opportunity. Thank you for winning one for yourselves. Thank you for moving your school program forward. And Del Sol, congratulations. Buckle up because you know I mean, I'm still salty from the sweat. Okay. Let's move on to our second matchup before I feel any more emotional, and it is Green Valley versus Burkhardt, which will make me emotional anyway, because these are two teams that boast faces and voices of our league. You know, Kiana Marshall's done an amazing job being a lot of different things for Green Valley. And Marley is practically the voice and face of our league over this strange summer, you know, going into the pageant. And you can't think of too many people who scream pro level comedian quite like Marley in our league. So this was a matchup that was going to pit the team that really blew us away, had the highest score of the week last week, right? In Green Valley.
They did. They
Yeah.
did in the first round.
So we're a huge unit versus a really amazing conglomerate around one of the league's faces. So this is crazy. So much to say here. Where do you even want to begin?
Well, you know, now that we know that Clark is not advancing, I'm thinking about those seniors. And in this show between Burkhardt and Green Valley, there 6 of these 8 performers are seniors. So unfortunately, we're going to say goodbye mathematically to a handful of them. And I mean, you're right about everything that you're saying. So I'd love to be able to put Marley next to Roman. Like, how cool would that be, right?
Yeah.
Just it is what it is. But we get to talk about the show for a minute.
Yeah.
This also too. This was a team that filmed together in person and a team that filmed online, and this was actually a hot topic in the judges' room.
I was wondering if it would be. Share.
This was, and trying to discover what that being in person meant as far as an energy level and a performance level and how much we gave was what we were trying to make sure we kept at the forefront of our mind and making sure we can judge everything fairly. Here's what it came out to is just a lot of laughter, a lot of fun. I mean, there was moments on both sides that, I mean, we definitely lost it, just enjoying what they were doing. So I think in the end we got it right and we figured it out, and here we are. I know you got games to chat about. Do you want to dive into your notes?
Sure. A couple things I want to say right off the bat is that I'm jealous of Sam's voice from Burkhardt. He's got like, have you ever seen home videos? It's on Adult Swim. You probably shouldn't if you're listening to this, actually. So don't go looking up home videos or home movies. Never mind. Whatever. Anyway, point is, great, rich radio voice, ready to go. Jealous of that, Sam. Yeah, man. Woo. And Marley, too, of course, has a really cool, iconic voice for us. And that was on full display in Little Voice, right? Right off the bat. Burkhardt takes us into this interesting sort of Pulp Fiction-y, right? That was the feel of the scene. You're gathered around the campfire and everybody's in bandanas whipping out their best New Yorker accent, right? Really trying to set the stage for an atypical Little Voice in which the item in question, which was the camera, voiced by Marley, eventually got thrown into the fire, right?
Yeah.
And there is this big, I like that. I like the entire feel of the setting. I liked it was like a sketch. Like I was ready to embrace it as a sketch, and everything right up to the end when Marley came out in real life and went, "Hey, I'm Tony 3," because there were so many Tonys. Like, funny. It was a complete sketch. Like, what's not to like about just what came together. I love Sam leaving halfway through the scene to go get the police. Something we don't often see in Jester scenes is somebody who leaves the scene with a purpose, because you think, well, you got to be there the whole time. Well, you don't. If you have a purpose, you can kind of argue about it. But Sam leaves and goes, I'm going to go get the police. That might ruin somebody's plan. Maybe you don't know. Just saying. Like, I love that whole foreshadowing. It was a fun scene.
Let me give love to Bailey at the top. It's so hard for one person to just stand and just by themselves create something. And Bailey created such a rich, fun, little silly idea. And it seemed like she was out there almost for an eternity, just by herself before that camera started speaking. So Bailey, you had the judges going before Marley even jumped in as that camera. So yeah, that was definitely a great way for them to start the show.
Oh yeah. Kudos to Molly for being the one to say, "Hey, we're in a ball pit still." Yeah, I I like Molly. I can tell she's the young brain, I think, compared to the others in their experience levels, but
I don't
really taken
know.
some huge leaps this year
Hmm.
gradually. Like I see it, like these really cool choices she makes. She does a really good job of alternating between leading and following,
Yep.
but she doesn't seem too far away from understanding what the scene needs. So kudos to Molly. Um, and I have to say, switching over to Green Valley for just a second, that I need to issue an official apology to Isabella, because I think since I said you were the base that kind of balanced the acidity of the rest of your teammates, I think I've seen nothing but you bring it,
Yeah.
like bringing it. Tie your hair up and square up, like kind of chip on your shoulder, punching stuff out, doing everything you can. And I saw that a lot this week. Isabella brought it in What Are You Doing? Isabella brought it in Director, if I'm not mistaken. Was another game they played. And she was
She
right.
was
It was
Bob.
Director. And she was Bob. And she was the
Yep.
naive replay, right?
Yep.
No, Riley was the naive replay
Well,
setup,
Riley
right?
was the setup, right?
Yeah, exactly. So a lot of value came from Isabella. Also, Riley in that naive replay, just the way she performed the scene, I was in it. Very theatrical, like very well performed.
Yep.
I was very focused on that scene. A really good job with Riley there because of how much dead air time she took up for sure, just being the solo artist there in that game. And I like Rufus. I think this is the week where Rufus, I could see how everything he was doing, he was like, how can I lace just a little bit of extra oddity on this so that it's out of place enough to be funny, but intelligent enough to be used easily by my team? He's shrewd. He's a shrewd improviser. I like Rufus's brain a lot, and especially for this group. Um, it was a fun show. I mean, back and back and back and forth. This is the one I was maybe the most excited to see this week. And I imagine it delivered in the eyes of the judges. What do you have to say? You got more love to throw out?
Yeah, maybe a little bit. I mean, it just maybe backing you up some more. Isabella for Bob, I thought Isabella, this is the second time that she's done this year as Bob, and she
Mm,
doesn't miss a cue, man. And
no.
that's such a big coaching note we always give. And
Yes.
Isabella just doesn't miss it. Like she's so on top of it. And I remember that from the first time she did it. What I loved in this was that they confronted Bob. How often do you see them confront Bob?
That's a good
Uh,
point. Yeah.
so just kind of this weird full circle at the end, which is development, and that's exactly what you want. Um,
I remember writing a few things. The double quirk ad, you're right, because there were two things added there for Isabella to digest. And then when she came in and knocked them both out of the park, I was like, bueno, bueno, bueno. The Australian Kansas reference, I'm here for it. Like, I was ready for some carry on my way. What song? Love what I heard, regardless. That was not supposed to be my Australian, but whatever. Fun game. I love the effort from Isabella in that one, too.
yep. Sam, you probably got a career in being a director, so go get them.
I
And
I put in brackets. I said Sam's director notes are strictly wild, like just wild.
yeah, just ridiculous.
I Molly looked like after that third one, after the third bout of directing, I felt like Molly literally just shriveled up as a character. Like that's just so much. I don't even. I'm just gonna be small and let it happen. And it was the. I mean, I related to that choice. I would have made that choice. I've been like, this director's nuts.
Yeah.
M Night, see you later. But a fun game. What else you got?
Yeah, well, as we said, we're gonna have lots of splits. So this was another split. This
Ah,
meaning the judges were split as far as who won on their scoring sheets. And remember that whole 360-point thing.
yeah.
Um, this show was only separated by 4
Oh my
points,
goodness, it got even closer.
even closer than the Del Sol and Clark
That's
show.
nuts. That's nuts.
So it might be time, sir.
All right, yeah, I'm ready. These teams should take nothing but high praise away from this. I love Burkhardt's individuality and their personalities. They are so ready to go and be their own improv troupe when they're done and graduated. I recommend it. You have that chemistry and that fun. And across from them is a Green Valley team that, you know, we've we've really enjoyed their flashes of just straight up brilliance, both individually and collectively. We have a Rookie of the Year nominee. We have a first team main stager in this show. We have so many. We have a most improved honorable mention in Kiana, right?
Yep.
We have so much to appreciate between these students, and neither team, whomever is walking away, needs to hang their head. Be proud of yourselves. Thank you for a really fun show, the one I looked forward to the most this week, and it delivered because of how different your two brilliant groups of minds are. Let's find out. I'm ready. Press that play button. Who is advancing on to
With
the Elite Eight?
Elite Eight.
Ah, it's happening. He pressed the play button, and they are the Green Valley Gators. Oh, wow. Wow, wow, wow. Green Valley and Del Sol for that quarterfinal. Oh, however, Burkhardt, thank you again. Your comedy is stuff that a lot of us can look up to and learn from. As students and as coaches, there's so much talent there. Thank you for everything you've contributed. Thank you, Marley. I'm looking forward to seeing you hopefully one more time before this all wraps up and you move on to whatever hilarity you're going to create with your life. But thank you so much for what you've done for our league, for who you are, and what you've done with that Burkhardt team, because a lot of their schmooze comes from how you play your game. So good job. I mean, truly, you should not in any way, shape, or form feel bad, Burkhardt, but congrats, Green Valley. Let's go have a show. Let's go. Let's go. Oh, that's going to be fun. Moving on, right?
Yep.
All right, sir. On the bracket, I have ATECH and Sierra Vista. That's the next matchup.
The Battle of the Song Schools.
Yes, yes. And boy, I can only imagine the pride she had watching this show, because I know I had pride, and I'm not even a coach of either of these schools. Love seeing Viv be Viv and captaining this game. I remember back in week one, I think week one we may have played Spring Valley, but week two I think we played ATECH, and I remember watching Devin and really liking Devin's brain. But what I loved about ATECH this week is the energy of them. Their energy is cool. Their chemistry is cool. There are 4 distinct brains and bodies, and they use them in different ways here.
Yep.
All 4 of them have a place. I liked Savannah as that student who sets everything up and lets the others play. I think that's a student you do not underplay the value of, because those who set the scenes and then are selfless enough to let you do your thing are truly the teammates, right? Those are the teammates. So
Yep.
kudos to Savannah on many different counts.
I would give Savannah the rock star vote this week for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm stealing the lamp again in that naive replay. One of my favorite sound bites from Jonathan, who had a number of moments that had me just admiring why he's an MVP. Like, I get it. An MVP nominee, excuse me. Totally get it. There was great expression and commitment from them in ATEC's games. I felt like that was obviously what I was writing down over and over again, was the expression and the commitment from naive replay and onwards. Sierra Vista opens with slow-mo, one of my favorite games. I love it's a face-making competition. I mean, with all due respect, Viv, my guy, you were made for this.
Yep.
Made for this game. Made
Yep.
for this role. Made for this scene. I'm just glad that happened. I'm glad
Right.
that's on YouTube. I'm glad that game is there for me, because I've known Viv since sophomore year for him, and I've seen him grow so much and find himself, and that game was made for Viv. So
Yeah.
I want to watch that every once in a while to remind how great a person and student Viv has been. So thanks for that one, even existing, Vista, and that's sincerely from my heart. Brilliant commentating from Misha, totally ready for a broadcast career. Rowan adding the color here or there. I have definitely become a Rowan fan with how easily that she adds just a string of sugary, playful darkness to everything. Like it's
Right.
borderline like the creepy clown, but in the best way. I
Right.
mean that with all the love. There was a fun what game with interesting takes all around. Devin again, he's got such a cool brain. I like Devin's brain. Um, what on Sierra Vista's side, I was grateful that Rowan came in and played the kid character. I felt like that scene needed it. Um, and I would have wanted every motion of Viv's cooking dance for the record, like just in that upper left-hand corner. I just remember watching Viv dance pretty much the whole scene, and I'm like, can we like whatever that is?
Well, the
Um,
way they closed that scene with everyone dancing was perfect.
Yes, exactly. It did build up to it. That's right. I
Right.
needed to get to the bottom of my section there. You called me and you got me. It's totally true. Smart move, Son. Thank you. That was the right end for that scene. ATECH plays a parallel. So there are a handful of games that we saw a lot this week.
Yeah.
Games like there's a couple that really won. One because we did them right and it felt great watching them. And there were some that made me go, Parallel Universe was one that I think was generally played really well, as was Shift Left Dub. And ATEC had both those games this week. I like Shift Left Dub because I feel like as long as you're energetic and you're listening and you're paying attention, you could pretty much make comedy out of any situation. And I think three teams really nailed it this week, and ATEC was one of them. Sierra Vista's little voice and the post-it notes. I mean, I had forgotten Misha speaks Spanish like a pro. And I when she first busted out some Spanish and the other students just their eyes widened and were like, I'm what? Like, oh man. That made me laugh. It was so funny. Super fun rounds all around. I'm gonna take a break on the love. Do you have something you want to say?
Yeah. So huge coincidence. Misha attached herself as a post-it in Little Voice. Post-it was the suggestion Song had for 9 out of 10.
I noticed that too. You're
And
totally right.
that was what was given to her as a suggestion. So it's just a coincidence. And they played it right out of the gate. I mean, they started the game referencing the callback, like they did it so well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then you're right with everything you said on ATEC as far as what they can do and how they can do it.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the writing that's not on the wall that maybe not everyone understood, is that in Song's case, their coach for both teams, she was trying to set them both up to succeed and to put on the best show possible. And I
That's the
want to
definition of our league.
absolutely, and as stressful as I know that was, I know we talked about it last week. I'm the only other coach that's been in that exact boat where my two teams played each other in the playoffs. I understand the stress that she was in. And even right now, watching this video, trying to figure out who won and who's advancing, Song is stressed.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
and even after we reveal who wins, Song's gonna go, well, did I do it right? Did I set them up? So let me at least put a little bit of this at ease. This was also a split decision.
Oh, good. And that's good. I
And
felt okay.
this was the closest split by 3 points.
Oh man. Okay. 3 points determined the victor of this one. Um, that's a wild thing to say. And so much talent was in this game too. A couple of quick things that I was reading that I just want to say. Jonathan, there was a moment in what where you went from a melting wizard to a goblin character. And because it got wutted and taken away, I just want to say that was a stroke of genius that on a justification scale, like that's just a grade A big brain justification. Super cool moment for me. Um, and I also, in conclusion and in follow up to last week, Suki, bless you. Your internet was better this week. Yes.
Oh
Thank
yeah.
you. We
Yeah,
needed
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Great characters in both these teams. We have an MVP candidate nominee from last year and an MVP candidate from this year in this show, and one of them has to stop playing improv for their
Right.
team this after this. So it's crazy. I almost want to prolong it a little more, but if you're ready, I suppose we have to move it along, don't we?
Yeah. Song, be proud. You prepared them to do exactly what they did. 3 points. That's it. That is it. That is good planning, good coaching. That is preparing them to succeed, and you did it. And Sierra Vista and ATECH, you both should be really happy with what you did.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
so you were our closest show of the week, and
Oh,
let's.
oh my gosh. This is an amazing group of first round matchups, guys, or second round matchups. This is not an easy Sweet 16 for anybody to advance through. Okay, ATECH, if it's your time, remember you're awesome and epic. You've got so much talent. I have to hurry up, my love. Sierra Vista, you guys are so big on my heart. Always will be. Viv, Misha, Bless. Here we go. The team that is advancing is ATECH. Oh, okay. Congratulations to ATECH. Congratulations to Jonathan and company, Devin, Savannah, and Jessica, a team whose chemistry really did glow this week. Sierra Vista, as the team walking away, know that the greatness in your heads and in your hearts are truly staples of what our league is about. It has been such a beautiful story watching Viv develop. It's been such a beautiful story watching Misha find the potential within her and show that she can help others grow as well. This program is so much better with minds like Rowan and Suki and the various other young students who joined the fray this year. And we're grateful to think there's life forward for a Sierra Vista program. Thank you guys. I care about that school so much in their program. I am sad to see them walk away, but please know it is in no way, shape, or form a reason for you to feel blue. Just stay true to you, Mountain Lions. You guys are going to be just fine. Much bless. Did I kind of say what you would say?
Yeah, um,
It hurts. It
it
hurts.
all the way up and down. And I think if I get too talky, I'm definitely gonna get emotional.
Cool,
Um,
man. Then let's move on to our defending champions. I don't want to be that guy. Defending champion Cimarron versus Spring Valley, a team that opened my eyes last week quite a lot. M. Bowser has since been nominated for several awards in our league and made that second team main stage cast. And just unbelievable, an all-star, a most improved player nominee, and Kevin, Rookie of the Year nominee. Gordon, right off the bat, I'm just gonna say I'm here for Gordon the Turtle. I'm
yep,
here for him.
yep.
Like that was a classy character. That was a classy role in that game. He is very tasteful. He had many different opportunities for to go wild or weird and rude, and he didn't do any of those things. I think Gordon's just a cool, infinitely unsung hero. Came over from Bonanza, played improv with Spring Valley, fit right in, gave so much of his just congenial, well-mannered, kind-hearted, improvisational yes and mind, and such a cool kid. I gotta
This
just say
was,
that.
I agree. This was Gordon's week. The judges knew it.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
yeah, Gordon, this is what you've been doing best for the past 4 years.
Yes.
So absolutely.
And for Cimarron, if my heart doesn't just bleed for an Althea and how much effort I saw there today, watching that Cimarron Spring Valley game, and Brianna as well, especially physically bringing so much to the table. Fernando's easygoing, fun-loving approach to things was certainly had value. And team, you brewed like nobody's business. Like, are you trying to be the Undertaker? Because I'm feeling some vibes. From the Spring Valley side of it, joining them, yeah, I think we talked about some really cool teams here, some great chemistry. It was going to be an interesting thing to see if the Spring Valley team could topple the champs. And I mean, where do you want to begin? There's a number of different games here. I did want to say, in Step Out Musical, first of all, brave choice.
Yep.
Kevin, kudos to you for stepping out with this bluesy decision right off the bat. And
Right.
you just drove home exactly what we pray this game is going to be when we hear it's being played. We want it to have like a little musical flow, just a little simple hook that you can just repeat some syllables in. And you did it, buddy. And that was cool. So kudos to Kevin on that one. Your turn. Say something nice. Said Gordon's turtle was hilarious, right? Oh, from that Step Out musical, so good. He did a Hanson reference as this mystical, truthful turtle. Like, killing it, Gordon. I was here for it. Yeah. Come on. I'm a 90s boy. Let's go.
Yeah, I liked that out of the gate because I think Spring Valley has definitely found an identity this year with what they do and what they do well. So
Yeah.
to see Step Up Musical may have been a little bit outside of their comfort zone, and it's the playoffs, baby. Go big or go home, right?
Yeah.
So that was kind of cool to see. And I think Justin on the other side, Coach Justin for Cimarron, he's got such a style. Like it's so identifiable when he's coaching, when his players are playing.
Right.
And that was pretty evident here this week. Instant soap opera, a game that the league typically struggles with, but Justin seems to have a little bit more ease at, and it works a little smoother when Justin seems to do it.
Yes.
And here we are again in that same scenario. Yeah, so you had a lot to look at and think about here with multiple most improves with Brianna on the other side. And hey, if this wasn't a surprise for me going into it, in between coin toss taking, Brianna expressed wanting to junior coach next year after she graduates. So what a cool little addition that will be. Any seniors graduating, this is basically the invitation. So
Please,
nice to see Brianna stick on. And yeah, this one was close as we knew it was going to be.
Yeah.
This was another split decision.
May I say real quick?
Absolutely.
Town hall meeting played by both teams. No, this was just a Spring Valley this week, and I should know that because Noah, you look fabulous in full makeup. I wrote a little heart here because I think you need to know that I love being a character. Hi, Warren here. I love being characters. I will do lady characters, but I've never put on lipstick and did my hair and really put in the effort and carried a purse for a minute. I really haven't, despite what you might think, guys. But dude,
so
Noah killed that.
Backstory is before they started recording town hall meeting, Noah turned off his camera, and Megan was helping lead on notes and just say, hey, this is what we're going to do, blah, blah, blah. And Noah, they were like, what? No, why is your camera off? And he refused to turn it on because he was getting ready and he was trying to be ready for the scene. So yeah, kind of cool to see coaches get in and get crazy like that.
You know, in a world where this could very well be the last time Coach Noah is doing his thing for us this year, I wanted, because we're losing Noah, guys. Noah's going to go do great things elsewhere in the world, which is what we always encourage great minds to do, whom graduate, whom coach, whomever. And so we'll miss you, Noah. If this is the last time I get to say this, man, I think you are such a class act. You're a great creator. You've done beautiful things with the programs you've coached. You are a beautiful human. That moment just made me believe how selfless and so right you are on this planet. Like, I just love you being you. Please continue to do it. That's for the coach of Spring Valley, Noah. Great stuff. That just through that, man. I love that. Oh, emotional over coaches. What's happening to me?
Well, and now we've got a handful of seniors again, and here we are. So
yeah, Gordon especially today would break my heart.
Yeah,
Althea we get for one more year, but we are missing Brianna if we lose the champs, which is tough.
Yeah, Brianna, Fernando graduate. Kevin and Gordon graduate.
So, yeah, and yeah. Kevin, yeah.
Either way.
Okay, yeah, it's true. I guess without further ado, we do it, don't we?
Yep.
Okay, I'm ready for you. Champs, you are the champs. You are the team we're always talking about, are the secondary thinking masterminds of the league. You play a number of different games in a distinctive style, all a Cimarron their own. We will, if this is your time, miss you and thank you for your title time and for what you do for our league by coming out and giving it the college try this year. Or the high school try, I guess, to be honest. Across from them, Spring Valley, you're a cool hodgepodge of chemistry. You've done an amazing job elevating yourselves in this playoff. None of you have looked better than these games. And all of you should be proud of who you are and what you've accomplished this year. If this is your time, know that you all bring so much value as people to this planet. You're all kind-hearted and adaptive souls who will do great things wherever you may choose to take your talents. Gordon and Kevin, we will miss you if this is your time. So let's do this. Okay. Simi Sprini, somebody has to go, and nobody's excited about it except for the ones who are moving on, and it's the Spring Valley team. Oh me goodness. Congratulations to Spring Valley League. You heard it here first. We will have brand new high school Jesters champions this year, Cimarron. Oh my gosh. I'm sad to see you go. Excited to know Althea will have one more stab at a championship, get that title back next year. Sorry to see Fernando leave. Sorry to know Brianna's leaving, but we are likely and happy to know that you have interest in coming to hang out with us once you graduate. I'll look forward to meeting you as an adult, Brianna. We're going to work great with you. You're going to fit right in. You're going to have a lot of value. You showed a lot of amazing promise in your high school Jesters career, caught eyes immediately, and retain them all the way through. So come and play with us. Congratulations, Spring Valley. You are matched up. Oh, right. We'll do that later. Okay. The bracket is shaping up. What a story. Let's do Durango and Legacy. So this matchup had me salivating because Durango's first show of the playoffs.
Yep.
You know, we've built them how we've built them. We get it. And we encourage Legacy to come out and have all of the fun in order to have their best shot. And this was a fun show to watch.
Yep.
There was a myriad of wedding dress sightings on the Legacy. Like, if there was a reason to wear a wedding dress, it was created. And some of them were suggested out there. So that's the way it works. But boy, do I love Louis and his infectious ability to energize those around him. Do I love Lindsay this week again, proving that it was not a fluke? Lindsay's scene building and scene carrying instincts are live, and it's real and it's here. I loved seeing Alex get the nod for captain this week just for fun for Legacy, because Alex, I think your fearless and just eclectic sense of humor is kind of the thing that we as Jesters love to find and love to highlight. So bless you for who you've been. And I was excited to see Gigi make a appearance, if you don't mind me calling her Gigi. I'm stoked to see Gigi play with this Durango team, because everybody's going to look better probably playing with an Emmy and Maya combo. I don't think I've seen Robert play before, so that was fun. And it was nice to get my eyes on Alicia, excuse me, who definitely did show out in a couple of different games, especially, if I'm not mistaken, she was the director, right? Love the musical attempts in that game, by the way. If we're going to stick to Durango for a second, I love that every single game started with a different take on the musical concept from both Robert and Maya, which is just cool. That's just clever improvisational formatting. Like, you know, okay, I got to be musical, but I got to do it different every time. You just slide out your different tropes. And I thought that was really cool. Emmy's We Fit character near the end of that game was when I really sat up and went, oh gosh, yet again, Emmy, right? I just love Emmy's brain. Such a cool character brain. Really helped that scene a lot in a lot of different ways. I saw Alicia's range in this one the most, though, with the directing notes. There just so much range there for Alicia to play with. That was fun. So you're again, I'll slide some love. That was for Durango. What do you got to say?
Well, I mean, to bridge off of director at least, I think they had the most fun when Alicia came in, and just that banter between Alicia's weird character and the three of them talking back and forth was just ridiculous.
Yes.
I mean, Alicia started a seance circle as
Right.
the director.
Yes.
And Maya's, you got cankles, yo. Like, it just, yeah, I mean, totally agree. On Legacy side, I agree. Lindsay's coming out week was last week for sure, and then it didn't slow down this week.
No,
which is awesome. I think Alex has definitely been able to add a layer onto the performing side. So as much as there's that energy there, there's actually now some scene work there, and there's layers to Alex now, which is so good to hear. and
Mm-hmm.
see. Gigi, you found your confidence somewhere in the middle of the season. So I'm happy you've got all that going for you.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, you guys just went for it the whole time. You pulled out all the stops last week. You proved why you needed to move in advance in the playoffs. And then you went for it again this week. I loved the Angels and Demons that they did it for both.
Yes. Oh, and honestly, one of my things I wrote down was one of my favorite parts of that whole game was just watching Lindsay and Louis like mechanically shuffle over to
Right.
whomever they were helping. So yeah, that was a cool note. I remember almost writing down in director that I thought maybe Alicia was going to get rebelled against, and I was like, I've never seen that in director. So there was teasing that these schools were going to do some things a little outside the typical format.
Right.
I liked when near the end of Freeze in Legacy's game where Louis and then Alex both took turns being right up against the camera. And I probably laughed at the line, "You're the next sacrifice." I know. He just said, I know. He was so ready for it. It made me laugh because as real as that moment could have been, he was just like, whatever, just get over with. And that's how the end of the game, of course, was
Right.
with a sacrifice. Was it enough for Legacy to get by Durango? It could be. This was entertaining to watch all the way around. This was not nearly a landslide. So again, everybody, guys, sharpen your tricks because everybody is wide open, ready to take these playoffs. It's been crazy to just realize that as we go. The understudies with Legacy with Louis speaking in emojis the entire time. I kept wondering, when are you going to run out of creative ways to express similar things? And he really didn't. Gravestone turtle emoji, toast emoji. Like, what are we doing here? It made me laugh, but just such fun. You both teams, just a lot of good, good gut laughs from me this week.
Yep.
What else you got? Exit stage left. I think that was the first time I've ever seen it.
Yep.
With the characters not changing, but the performers changing.
Yep.
Um, it wasn't. I don't know, and I don't know if any of these notes are appropriate. So I'm glad it happened, and I'm glad I saw it. Um, kiss it off, and we'll put that in our back pocket.
my my udders are crying.
See, I didn't want to say that. I did not wish to utter that.
I know because, but that's. I mean.
I know. And
Yeah.
that's I think when Karina came in and went, and that's where we cut that off.
Yeah.
And I will say this, Karina, kudos to your coaching mind. You clearly are good at understanding how to get these amazing players to find new layers and explore themselves. Like I hope you're giving yourself some credit. I know what it feels like to be a coach who says, I don't know what I'm teaching at this point, which I think Kopy and I in a conversation we alluded that that's a conversation you've had with Coach Karina. But I would like to say from one coach to another, obviously, you're a part of this thing. So give yourself some credit and some love and some hugs, because when everything Durango does is a reflection of you as their leader, and you make really strong coaching decisions with all the ways you call your games. Like I've never gone, I would have done this. So kudos. Anything else you want to say?
Yeah, I will reveal scoring and winner here in just a second. But for the Durango kids that are watching this, I totally agree with you on inner monologue. So yes, they felt really good about inner monologue, and you should. You absolutely should. I'll leave it at that.
The build up to Maya's eventual escape and how the camera just casually falls over and everybody momentarily realizes what just happened and then they call scene, right? Like
Yeah.
that's kind of what the whole thing's about. So
Yeah.
really good job getting us ready to see what Maya would do just for that to be the outcome. Agreed. I remember that game being a lot of fun to take in. It was the first one of the show, so it
Right.
definitely, bam, welcome to it.
So what I can tell you on the judging side of it is this was the highest combined score of the week.
Wow.
So you two together put together the highest score between any two combined teams. So
Good for you
feel
guys.
good about that, Legacy and Durango. But unfortunately, one team is advancing and one team is not. So without further ado,
There's a little bit of further ado, real quick, while I say Durango, you've been the bar all season vocally through us. You know how highly we regard you, so good luck to you. If this is truly your end, then bravo on a year worth dropping your microphone for. You congratulations to our MVP nominees yet again, the amazing boundaries you've broken through, and more importantly, at least from a coaching perspective, congratulations for how well you've built up the team around you. The value that you've instilled in the teammates around you and the safety you've given them to express themselves is your true greatest accomplishment from a big picture thing. So kudos. On the other side, if it's legacy, you guys got your first playoff win this year. This is a massive thing for your program. Though you lose a Louis, which is heartbreaking, you've gained identity, you've gained fun, you've gained personality, but also understanding of said personality. You've learned to adapt to each other. You've learned to give, take, and appreciate and respect the definition of what makes this league great. So, no team has failed at any missions. If this is a walkaway period for either of you, which it will be, sorry, my bad, spoilers, then we'll miss you. Thank you. Let's find out what happened.
moving on to the Elite Eight
Is Durango. The Trailblazers blaze their way to round 3, the quarterfinals. Oh boy, what an accomplishment to continue on. Again, legacy though. I mean, it sounds like you just had a heck of a show. You're coming off a great year. You learned a lot. Beautiful thing. I hope you Longhorns are proud of that legacy. As I said that you were in my little players, are you ready verse? I know you are, and please continue to hold your head high. Your horns are sharper than ever. I promise. Very much fun. So I know legacy is a tough one for you, Kopy. I'll try to speed us along. This is West Tech and Valley, which was definitely on my list of must sees. I mean, I was going to watch them all, but I was really looking forward to West Tech and Valley because I would say the team with the most energy from week 1 versus the team with the maybe, I mean, I know we have Team Adorable and we have Team Love, but I would call Team Valley Team Likable because of the endearing ways they explore their personal characters, but also their chemistry. Like they're always doing something different, and everybody's on board for each other's something different. It's cool to see. So much creativity flows from Valley. So this was going to be a tight one from beginning to end. But right off the bat, West Tech, I will say your energy was retained, maybe even and then some, because having Iago and Tabs in the same room, you could feel them feeding off each other. And boy, were they just unflappable together. And they were all 4 of them just, they clawed at everything to find value to create off of. And I didn't see any of the quieter side in and Ashley Byer that you alluded to last week with that second team main stage appointment.
Yep.
I didn't see any of that in this. And Hannah, quite frankly, may very well be somebody I just hope still performs after this. Like, please go graduate, but keep being your performer self. You're so talented, like really, really talented, Hannah. Just a great week for you. But that takes nothing away from Valley. Overall impressions of Valley, I mean, we saw Maddie's continued creative way of starting every single scenario. At one point, opening the door to her closet just to find the computer. So what a unique perspective that we enjoyed there. You know, Kyla could very well be an unsung hero for the amount of energy, yet very, very simple cleverness. The instructional manual reading character that she did, and I'm trying to remember the game in which that she pulled that out.
Storyteller.
Makes sense.
Yep.
For storyteller, I mean, you sounded like somebody reading an instruction manual, and when you straight broke and said, "What is this going to do and help me fix my car?" Like, you said it in such a real way that you're great, Kyla. Like, that was really cool. Maddie's a beast. Isabella's a beast. Like, this was going to be a matchup. So I hyped it. What do you feel like taking away from this game?
Well, this show, maybe above all, had the most verbal conversation between the judges
Oh,
as
good.
far as just verbal appreciation for what they were watching.
Mm,
Um, and not a ton of like questions and clarifications and theory discussions, but just, man, these teams are having fun. There's clearly chemistry. When it came to Valley, it was the consensus was they are all so comfortable just being weird with each other.
exactly. Brilliant.
Just yeah, and that was very evident that that's who they are and what they've been all year.
And that's
And then
Geo. Like Geo instills that. Like, good job, Geo, for helping these kids feel safe enough to be themselves. Like,
right,
that's a first year coach. You've beyond exceeded expectations. Like,
right.
yeesh. Keep going.
And then of course on the West Tech side, I mean that energy just melted your face off. So yeah, they hit it all the way around. I mean,
Mm.
even with a game like Bookline, which you would assume to be more of like a tamer style game, that's not what the game they played.
No, that was a really fun game. I hadn't seen that before, and I think was one of them reading from a To Kill a Mockingbird.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so glad I remember some literature. That was cool. Um, by the way, Iago, first time I've seen him, he had a number of the kinds of jokes that I would try to lay, like A squared plus B squares equals hot dog.
Yeah.
I'm like, I would probably pop that joke if I was in the random moment. That was what? So of course, random are us, right?
Right.
He had a number of those zingers right after the other. And so great, funny value. Tabs looked like a complete performer this week, doing literally anything and everything she wanted. And when she
Right.
does that, I feel like she's got the respect of those around her so that they go, I want to do that too. And then they just do it. Like the energy was just radiating from these four. It was so cool to know it wasn't a fluke from last week. I'm stoked to see the rest of the playoff for either of these teams. Old Lady Power Ranger from Maddie. LOL. I'm no match for Old Lady Power Ranger. And actually, Kyla busting into that scene and being a director to not director related, just change the scene up, I thought was a very intelligent and well played moment. It's
Right.
not often where a scene wipe and restart in a way, a reimagining of the entire concept is what we would applaud because might call that a lack of commitment.
Right.
But no, it had such purpose. And
Yep.
when Maddie stands up and throws her scarf down in disgust and gives that decision value, that's what sells it. Like, good teamwork here, so much from both teams. I would call this my show of the week. I wonder if it was. I don't know if that's already been given away.
Well, this had the second highest combined score of the
Makes
week.
sense. Okay.
Um, I'd like to point out too, to further all the compliments we're giving it. They played the agreed game of Parallel Universe. They played it slightly differently. The two
Right.
teams didn't play it exactly the same, but they were both very committed to the ways that they played it with
Mm-hmm.
their own tweaks. That was something the judges took away from it as well.
Mm-hmm.
So West Tech definitely played the freeze version style, where they froze in between, tried to use the freeze into the story.
Yep.
A little bit slower on switches if you're comparing song switches to geo switches or Valley.
I
Uh,
noticed that. True.
yep, Valley didn't necessarily do the freeze side, but they were, I mean, geo call switch, they were gone. They were off to the
Right.
races and in
Chugga
it.
chugga.
Yep. And so difference in styles, but both really good and really fun. Um, so yeah, good show.
West Tech was another team that did switch left dub, and I'm gonna go ahead and just say it was my favorite of everybody's attempt, and
Okay.
that was saying something. Just gotta say it. But Valley Storyteller was a game I always like to see. I love Storyteller ever since it came into the league a couple years ago. And again, all of the chemistry was on display there for that game. This is so close for me to call. So what do you got?
Well, if we are going to reveal,
Okay.
second highest score, combined score of the week between these two. So moving on and advancing
Uh,
to the
West
Elite
Tech,
Eight
West Tech,
is
West Tech has so much power, and they are moving on. Oh my goodness. I didn't even get to hype this. Valley. Oh, Valley. My goodness gracious. Sad to see the end of an incredibly creative run, but a success story nonetheless. This was Valley's first playoff win. Question mark ever?
Second, they did win in a first round once, one other time.
Cool. Just wanted to be reminded. I want to say that Valley's a collection of young minds that are only going to get better, especially with a coach like Gio. The enthusiasm he exudes and the love he instills in his team is what has enhanced everybody's creativity in that crew more than anything. You've also got you've got a dynamo brain in Maddie. If Maddie starting everything is just easy to build off of. Aiden Ahern, one of our Rookie of the Year nominees, uh, went to all sorts of different places, played a very complete show this week. Kyla is graduating, right?
Yep.
So Kyla, I'm going to say I'm calling you a major unsung hero. Thank you for your contributions to this Valley team. Your energy was perfect these playoff rounds, like exactly what this team needed to fill that void, your hole. And Isabella, oh man, tough to know you're going.
Isabella's only a junior.
Oh, then never mind.
Yep.
So there's a lot to celebrate and a lot to build off of. So Valley, Viking season's just getting started. I really do feel that way. Let's see what happens as you continue to grow. And Kyla, as you go off into the sunset, know that you are valued, noticed, appreciated, and respected. Very cool stuff from Valley this year. But West Tech, yikes. 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 If you haven't watched some West Tech, yikes. Okay, guys. Basic and Arbor View, our second to last matchup of the week. Another one that to me was going to be a must watch, right up there with the others. This one, for the reason being, we have a team of 4 students who've been playing together all year and legitimately telling the not the most straightforward in a bad way, but the most digestible improv, right? The most legible experiences with the right amount of laughs, but the right amount of story and the right amount of scene work. Like, these guys are truly, as you put it, textbook. They go up against an Arborview Aggie team that had Allison last week just going just absolutely full tilt.
Well, no.
Right. Well was the tagline this week. And I did write something about that character because Allison intentionally played a low energy character with purpose and presence. And it's an amazing juxtaposition of what some coaches would say is an impossibility. Like you might say you got to have energy in order for it to work. You got to go out there and you got to lay it on the table. But no, I mean, if you have a purpose to what you're doing, the way that Allison did with her character this week, you really challenge that idea and you really broaden what you can do. And Allison really showed how comfortable she is in this pocket now playing that character. Like that was, I was like, what are you going to do? When are you going to hit the gas? But
the judges actually highlighted that exact point. So, yep, absolutely.
Yeah. But Audrey bringing a ton of energy this week, absolutely hungry to continue to elevate her program. Melissa, who had her first show last week, right, and blew my brains out, returned this week. And then Danny as their fourth, a powerhouse group of ladies. So this was an interesting well, let's just say it. It was an upset that could brew. If you've got textbook and you've got some paradigm kickers, this was gonna be interesting.
You had apples and oranges here for sure.
Yeah.
So 2 very different teams, and I think they both knew it going into it as well.
I want to tell you, Looney Tunes is meaningful. Very good. I may be a little bit biased, so I'm going to lead Roadrunner for the record. But right off the bat, one of my favorite coin tosses of the week. Great Gen Z joke from Audrey with the I'm Gen Z, so I imagine the Roadrunner sounds kind of like this. Like, lovely. And then Evan going full Tasmanian Devil. But also, I love these moments when students are graceful. And I think there was a moment of grace here I wanted to highlight because Evan Like when Roadrunner retorted, Evan was like, "Oh, I didn't even think of that." Like totally conceded for a second. And I think those moments are what really, they're just subtle ways of helping your opponent or the other person from the other team, right? Just look a little cooler, and that's always classy. So I like to highlight classy. But I think I did this a couple times here because Jacob Day had a day, did
Oh
he
yeah.
not?
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
Jacob Day had a day. He got named to that second team main stage cast, and then he went out and really played the kind of game that you want to see from somebody who knows their value but understands how not to dominate the creativity of those around him. He
Yeah.
played very balanced, but he punched just a tad harder this week, and it's amazing. Like Coach Cassie needs to be given kudos because everybody's giving their right amount for their roles over there, and nobody's really overstepping anybody. It's crazy. They have a really good mix of like a really good approach to everything they do does basic, and that shined a lot this week. Like Cool Hand Luke, that team was not phased by anything. Their fortune teller, we talked about before we hit the record button. Evan brought a host mentality to fortune teller. Hey, come on in. Let's read your fortune. But he was kind of a jerk, right?
Right.
So kudos to Lily. Though I would for putting up with that. I would have loved just one, especially Lily, my senior. Yo, deck Evan on your way out just for a second for being a jerk of a host, just for a second. Not that I think you're on your way out. I'm just saying, like, just in case, don't let these hosts step on you. Okay. You've been here for 17 years, Lily. Jeez. Um, so fun. That was a fun fortune teller. Uh, despite Evan not claiming that nobody would care anymore. AV played an inner monologue. Audrey was stuck on intense, the setting intense. Like there's 1 to 10 and then there's intense. And that's what Audrey was stuck in, which is exactly what I thought she would bring out as a mentality this week after how much Allison we saw last week. And that's also where we saw Allison's very genius, low energy, bad cop character.
Yeah.
Just so cool. Silence, silence, silence. Like I agree. Everything there was just so interestingly against what we normally say, but that's a student who knows what they're doing, and thankfully a junior. Um, so town hall meeting from basic again, textbook. On the other side, AV got vitamins. Arbor View got vitamins for their topic. Kind of fun and off kilter. I did want to say this earlier. It was nice seeing CJ brought in to participate in this game.
Yeah.
Love it when teams bring in somebody to do a support role because they worked hard and were part of this team. So give them some time. Same thing can be said to Julian over at Sierra Vista. It was nice seeing Julian again this week doing that, but didn't mention that earlier. Um, that town hall, I mean, what I loved about basics is that they did this interesting thing where all 4 of them introduced their characters and then they hung out on screen and reacted to the other characters. And then they had a little banter time, so much so that the best pop of the whole thing was that their mayor decided to just leave their office and get out of term right at the end. And literally you heard Lily go, wait, what? And that was the end of your segment. Like that was great that nobody was announced for that. Um, tag out was so good. The notion that Jacob created the author of the mouse that wanted a cookie book, right? And that everybody else was coming in to kind of poke at that idea. That's just great way to play tag out. You grab one character who's got enough that you can play with that everybody might go, oh, but what if I present this? Okay, what if I present this? Okay, what if I present this? And it's just more of Jacob doing great Jacob improv around it. Like that was just so much good. So much good. Um, and Jacob, when you said if you give a pig a double stuffed cookie, it will want to move and boogie. Like I was like, that's the 10-star joke of the week because that's just good wordplay improv that really you didn't have to do. You had already done such a great job in this game, Jacob. Like this whole thing was so elevated by you. And then you tag your way back in to get the final joke. of the pig and the mouse taking over the world, and I just, man, that was a really good game of tag out that basic team played. So I rambled a lot, I said a lot. What do you love about this game?
We've hit a lot of points so far. I would say Arbor View closed it out with a really strong dating app. Um,
Oh
I
yes,
I love to see bookends.
I got it. I got it. Okay. So I'm kind of paying attention to coaches a lot recently. I don't know if that's just because I've been doing this for 7 years, or if, I'm enjoying watching them think, but I want to give a shout out to Coach Ariel of Arborview because of two different ways she portrays an MVP mentality. And students, I want you to hear this. Coaches, I want you to hear this. I love that at the end of her town hall meetings, she gives every single person a chance to say something else by asking, hey, do you have anything else you want to add? That is a simple nudge that encourages a yes-ander to put a button on their character, a summary of their character out there for you so that they can kind of wash down what they just gave you as a role. Like, that's so clever to just nudge somebody to do something. Like, good. And the second thing happened again here in Clones. No, excuse me, in Dating App, where this character sits down, I think it was Danny, and just riled off a couple of things that were cool. And then Ariel went, oh, well, I'm intrigued. Is there more to the profile? Oh, that's so clever, Ariel. Like, kudos to you. These are simple, yes, and worthy nudges that enhance these students' trust in themselves to keep creating. Like, that's just simple, good work as a coach. I love that.
Ariel, as a student performer, was an MVP nominee. Got to play in
Right.
a championship, so on. And now look at her now with 2 award-nominated students. So, yeah, you're 1,000,000% right. And I love bookends in shows where the first game comes out strong, the last game goes out strong. Like, that's a great way to make an impression and leave a good taste in your mouth. So,
If we're approaching the time where we find out who wins this one, I first want to say one sentence about what Basic does that I think people should hear this sentence. And if it sinks in, then great. And if it doesn't, then it's my attempt at summarizing what they do great. And maybe they'll at least appreciate it. Guys, what you do over at Basic is you make bold performances of simple choices. And that's what creates your fun and efficient improv. They are bold performances of simple choices. There's nothing that's too much of a reach for your decisions, yet you perform them in ways that make them feel special every time. Evan, Jacob, Lily, and Maya, I want you all to applaud whom you are as performers after this game because, man, you actually do feel like a complete improv troupe. The 4 of you, you feel like it. Like, I feel like you have your own just way of doing things. And I get chills, man. I thought Basic just laid themselves out there this week. Was it enough? Because this Arborview team is full of amazingly potent personalities, a hungry MVP candidate, a very capable junior, soon to be senior, who makes our list of rookies, as well as our second team main stage, right?
yep.
Yeah. So, like, killer team, right? This was no one's walking away from this having not earned this win. Ha!
Hey, Warren, guess what?
This was a split decision.
This was a split decision by the
Oh
judges.
God. I'm nauseous. I'm nauseous.
So,
I'm nauseous. So Basic, most of you have been here forever. We love you. We'll miss you if this is your end. Jacob, congratulations on a star-making year. Arborview, you guys are so full of talent and potential. We would be sad to see Audrey go in so early into an MVP quality run. We say early because honestly, I think this Arborview team has so much potential. But they walked into a matchup with a serious improv team who knows who they are. Was it enough? We'll find out right now. The team advancing to the quarterfinals between Basic and Arborview is, oh my goodness, it's Basic! Congratulations to Basic, a team that proves that scene work can be something to hang your hat on. You don't need all of the bells and whistles, but the bells and whistles are definitely there. You're finding ways to use them. On the other side, Arborview, guys, be proud and grateful of whom you found yourselves to be this year. You gelled and created improv that was definitively Arborview Aggie style, with a coach that has some incredible value to offer you and will always encourage you to be better for you. And that's a great thing to have, as a great coach. You have a great coach at Arborview. Uh, and Allison, you're going to be amazing next year. You clearly know what you're doing. You are building complexities with every little thing you're making. So be ready to bring your best when we're in person. You're going to have so much fun. Um, Audrey, Audrey, you are an amazing creative dynamo who's done an amazing job concocting ways for this team to move forward in the face of anything. And it is definitely fitting that you find yourselves among our MVP candidates. So please, we'll look forward to seeing you in the future, and be proud of you. Be proud to be Aggies. So many cool things happened for y'all this year. This is not something to cry over. So basic, congrats, guys. You got another week. Let's go. And you will face whomever wins this one, our final match of the week. And this is another one that I couldn't wait to watch, with Cheyenne, the Dream Catchers, right? What are they? The Desert Shields, taking on the final team of the week, Desert Pines, a team that I have openly said has some of my favorite brains in the league. So this was going to get interesting for me to watch. And right off the bat, I think my first message I want to give is that Jalen Bowie has one of my favorite brains in the league. I love every weird thing he does. Like, I'll just call it weird because there's definitely no one else can think of playing a claw machine, or nobody can make these grand entrances like he does. Like, he rises up in front of his camera so often, and I just enjoy watching him drink in the moment of whatever he's imagining this to feel like. But Sarah Miller over there has been just an amazing connector for so many things there this year. Very well deserved honorable mention for most improved. Such a cool soul. Across from them with this Cheyenne team, I've been excited because I absolutely respect DJ's amazing enthusiasm for improv, but also know her to be an excellent improviser. I really think Sam Umholtz is hilarious. He's random, and I personally eat random for breakfast. Random is bueno. Um, and I love the moments where, like in family dinner, when they're leading up to it, Sam can't help but try to have like a quip, and Miley would just be like, "Not now, Sam, please." Coach Miley, just no, no, Sam, that's enough. Thank you. Like, so funny. I don't know if any of that was Sam legitimately being banged up, or if it's just this fun thing they've been doing, but I hope it's the latter, because I want to laugh and appreciate it.
It's Sam. When Sam has an idea, in all honesty, like in the middle of a scene, when you watch Cheyenne do a scene, they all have that capability. But when it's not scene time, Miley has to make sure we get some work.
Gosh, that was funny, feeling that dynamic. And kudos to Coach Miley, because, being a petite young female, not too far removed from her high school years, she could definitely, if somebody chooses to, theoretically, she could be made to feel intimidated by others and their energies, but she doesn't do that at all. And she never has. I'm not saying I'm surprised. I'm just saying, like, if you don't know who Miley is and you're looking at this, you'd think this is a tough thing for somebody to do. Coach a high school improv team concocted of several schools, but no, Miley, you're just you just throw it down every time. It's so funny. And what a game. What a game these schools put on. I mean, I alluded to the fact that Jalen played a claw machine, which seconds ago had been created by Sarah, who was playing the person trying to get the claw machine to give her a giant teddy bear. So cool thing right there. Two characters who knew each other in a game that doesn't usually create those kinds of relationships. And in this case, help me, it wasn't director, it was
advice panel.
Thank you. Advice panel. Right. Very rarely do I see the characters click together. So that was cool to see them make that choice to begin with. Not to mention, by the end of one of those games too, they had intimidated Alex, their coach, into literally being like, I don't feel safe around any of you. I'm very uncomfortable. That made me laugh too. They're just another team that knows who they are, is Desert Pines. So this was going to be a banger, just a banger of an improv contest, and so many little moments that I really appreciated. Um, you know, I was happy to see Brittany be host or captain for Desert Pines, just sharing that love. I said it was cool. Karen was the captain last week, so very classy to let Brittany be the captain this week. Susan, I can see Susan's got a cool brain. Absolutely loved all the dancing I saw Susan do at various moments. When what else are you going to do for their scene? Like it's very cool. That student definitely does have an artistic mind. Um, Great coin toss all the way through. I remember that being a lot of fun because of your Uber suggestion. I don't know if you know this, Kopy, but Uber's really hard to get right now. So I'll take every Uber driver. I don't care if it's a creative, expressive theme or a snake theme. I need an Uber. Like, help me out. Chain Murder with Zeus Disneyland and Roman noodles, ramen noodles. So we saw Chain Murder a few times, right? Like we talked about this week, and this was the team that did the cool alternative way of communicating understanding. And Chain Murder is one of those games that when I have tried to play this with high school students, it's a game that's 20 minutes long unless I intend it to not be. So both of the teams that I saw off the top of my head who played it, they both just got through these rounds so fast. I'm very impressed. It could also be simpler suggestions than I remember mine being from time to time. But at the same time, just kudos to these teams who knew how to break these things down. I think Basic also played it right, and they were smooth as the other side of the pillow. But anyway, again, Cheyenne did that here. Very smooth. It made me want to play that game again, and I haven't wanted to play that in a while. Six Things got to be played too. That was by Desert Pine, so miming from both teams. Cool. I love Alex as a mime, so I had to think his team would want to try one, and they just bounced straight through those first two. And even though they didn't get the three, I was like, good, you're human. Good. Don't get that third one. That third one, Michael Keaton playing Beetlejuice and Beetlejuice 2, like, I'm sorry. I'm not going to get that after 10 minutes of improv. So moving on. But it was good to see they're human because they crushed most of that. And I was like, okay, here we go, Desert Pines. Director for Cheyenne, they were in a roller rink, ending up with a penguin scene. Both their directors, by the way, the other one being the Iron Ear was the theme for the Desert Pine ones. Both of them involve socks. They figured out how both of them found sock reasoning. Unbelievable. What a coincidence.
I thought Sarah was gonna tell Karen to put the sock in her mouth.
Me
Like
too.
that's where I thought the setup was going. I was like, oh no.
I saw Karen's face too, and it was clear that's where it was going. And I think Sarah took last second. I won't do that to you, pity. But man, I almost would have done it anyway. Very clever from DJ, especially in Dating Game, the way DJ meandered around the Tyler Perry references.
So good.
So good. Yeah. So clever.
DJ could just release a whole video just doing that, and it would be very entertaining.
But see, and I love that DJ and Sam are on the same team this year, because forgive me, I'm sorry, Sam's just one of those brains I would want to have to be patient with. Those two have a cool juxtaposition of styles. There's blunt and goofy and random, and there's wit and there's energy in DJ, sure, but the wit is more important to her. You can tell she just loves weaving a web, and
Right.
that's a cool student to highlight always. Nice to see hijinks played. I feel like it's been a phenomenon that we haven't seen that a whole lot this year.
Right.
I got to give the nod to Sarah's amazing quicksand setup scene. Like one of the funniest setup scenes for hijinks I've ever seen. And Sarah, good for you. That was totally a Sarah Miller moment. Hope you keep that video. And family dinner one of my favorite games I saw all week. And the biggest reason why, and this is 100% from the heart, I just enjoyed watching Maddie, who was the guest for that game. Yes, Maddie, second main stage team cast member, right, of
Mhm.
West Tech and Valley. Maddie sat there and enjoyed the scene and just drank it in and was focused and just loved watching it. Meanwhile, Sam is playing Maddie turning into a cactus. So and Maddie's just letting that happen. So just proof of the amazing brains we have in this league, isn't it? But truly one of my favorite games of the week. And yeah, man, up and down. This was a game I could not wait to watch. Do you have any love that I left out?
Did pretty good, man. I mean, the best love I can say is that this was a split decision by the judges.
Another split decision.
Yep.
Oh.
Well deserved, and unfortunately, it might be time.
Okay, so our final elimination of the week, we have two teams here who are both immediate success stories. Just to let y'all know, if you haven't heard that and you need to hear it, you are both success stories. Desert Pines, you've grown so much this year and evolved into a version of yourselves who can love, embrace, and accept every corner of each other's minds. Sarah and Jalen, I know you're both set to graduate. Yeah, Kopy, I see your little screen. If you can nod for me, cool. With both of you set to graduate, we're losing two amazingly funny, brilliant, and likable people. I will miss you if this is your time, but I pray you reach out and find me when you graduate because I just kind of want to get to know how y'all think, and I'd love to see you two explore your creativity as a duo. I think you two made Desert Pines such an amazingly cool force this year, and you both should celebrate your creativity and continue to hone it after high school. So be friends. Hope this is a lifelong connection you guys have developed here. So kudos to Jalen and Sarah. Absolute respect and love. And is Karen graduating too?
I believe so, yeah.
So I don't want to be Karen. I didn't get to know you a whole lot before this year. Your performance this year, helping Desert Pines evolve into a true three-headed dragon, is commendable, respectable, and something I beloved and appreciate because I respect this school, its coach, and its program. Thank you for what you've contributed. We will miss you if this is your time. For Cheyenne, you all are a hodgepodge of really fun and but more importantly, comfortable brains. You are comfortable with whom you are and whom you share yourselves with. I think DJ, you've got a smoothness to you that we celebrate. Sam, you've got a funny to you that I celebrate. And and as far as the rest of your team this week, with Kimura, a name that has come across our conversations. I loved you in Family Dinner, especially. I want to give you that love. And Susan, I hear your artistry and everything you do. I can feel you have a very unique presence mentally. I would love to learn your brain more. If we don't get to do that after this, then I'm sorry. But congratulations to both teams. The team advancing, though, in this stage in our 12th season to the quarterfinals. Our final game of the Sweet 16 is Cheyenne. Congratulations, Cheyenne. You find yourselves again in a position that might surprise you, but so ready to continue to put out great improv. And there you have it. Our Elite Eight are named. The bracket is set, and now Kopy and I will run down exactly what these matchups look like as we go into round 3, leading up to the big championship day. And let's talk about how we feel about these right from the top. Del Sol gets ready to face a Green Valley team that we just saw a few weeks ago. We are not that unfamiliar with each other. I've worked with both schools this year. I know what we can probably expect. And I will tell you, I'm expecting a banging back and forth, truly even contest of minds at this point. The chemistry that Green Valley has is definitely documented. And my hungry Del Sol seniors are hunting and ready. So what do you feel, Kopy? What do you feel?
I mean, all four of these matchups going into the Elite Eight have very extreme complexities. So, I mean, the best thing we can say with this baby little preview that we're going to give you is that it's time to take everything that we've learned and put it out there. So, I mean, we will sing your praises all day, every day. So now it's time to show them off a little bit. So Del Sol and Green Valley, we know what you're capable of. Like, you're all over the award maps. Like you've done amazing work all year. So now it's time to bring the best that you got. So that's it for me, man.
Oh boy, I'm excited. Thank you. So much to salivate over with the possibilities.
Yep.
Cameron, I'm gonna tweet you like right after I'm done with this. Let's get going and make our
Yep.
plan.
Yep.
Our next third round matchup. I didn't memorize our
Is
second round brackets, so go ahead and lay it out.
it's ATECH and Spring Valley.
Okay. This is a matchup that, when I asked Kopy, maybe a little bit behind the scenes, which team could shock us. This was before the playoffs, so things may have changed. But before the playoffs, I asked Kopy, "Hey, who's going to shock us? Maybe has the most potential to." And Kopy nodded and said Spring Valley. So going up against an ATECH team that has been a force this year, with an MVP candidate, with some teammates who know how to celebrate that MVP candidate and work with that MVP candidate, with, Savannah, we talked about that, clearly somebody who's ready to set the table, or Jessica, who is clearly capable of helping others feast. Like this is a matchup, guys. Neither team is as ready for this as you think you are. So go in and make a great plan for a great show. This will be a close one for sure.
Well, I mean, even this show makes me think of the round that we just had, where we had 6 split decisions. So
Right.
if we do what we just said about Del Sol and Green Valley, and we all just put it out there and leave it out there, let's let a split decision figure it out. If we put on our best show, what else can we ask for? And you've got 2 pretty different teams between ATECH and Spring Valley.
Mm.
So do you do what you know how to do and do it well, or do you take some risks and try some things and see if that helps curve things in your direction? That's something the 2 of you have to decide, the 2 teams. So best of luck.
An interesting word to the wise there. I look forward to seeing how both teams grow to battle this week, and I'm excited about a Jonathan v. Gordon matchup. Personally, it gives me excitement in my tum tum, and some really great pieces around both of those stars. Can't It's going to be fun. And on the other side for ATECH, I'm going to say Devin might be that matchup. Devin versus M is a cool secondary mind matchup. It's gonna be cool. That'll be
Yep.
great. Whom next?
Durango and West Tech.
So I want to say this so that I sound cool. Hot take. Hot take. Hot take. Durango's gonna sweat super hard with West Tech. Like, I'm not saying West Tech's got this because I'm not that guy. I'm saying West Tech is good right now, like so good and fun, and not just good but fun, not just fun but like they're hitting everything right now. So Durango, do your homework, be aware of whom you're watching and working with, and I'm sure West Tech's done it already because it's showing in the way they're playing in playoffs. West Tech, don't lose sight of who you are right now and embrace this amazing zen you have found creating together right now. Uh, Pick the pieces who are going to help you punch and give it your best swing. Have your most fun. It's working. It's so working. I'm getting chills on how well it's working. But Durango, like, no disrespect. I get it. I'm sorry. I understand this could be blasphemy. You have such an amazing crop of talent. You have 2 unprecedentedly powerful MVP candidates. I'm not sitting here trying to stir the pot or disrespect. I'm just saying this game is gonna be sweet. So good. This might be the game of the year. Like, I'm ready for it. What do you think?
I agree, and I think there's some intangibles here that are going to play a factor in what you guys do this week. And you players for both teams might not know this or realize this, but your coaches used to be old high school teammates.
Right.
So I think games that you play, who plays in your games, I think there's a lot of intangibles you can think about. Is this going to be a good show no matter what I just said? Yes, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So put yourselves in the best positions to win and be successful, and let's see what happens.
Amen. And I love these two teams because you've got the randomness of a Sam Umholtz, excuse me,
Wr-
combining
Wrong
with
show.
Cheyenne Basic.
We're not there yet.
Oh, I thought we were down to 8. Do I not know how to count?
Oh, we were on Durango West Tech closing.
Oh, my brain. I'm sorry. I must have written it down preemptively. Guys, it's really almost 3 a.m. So that's a thing. So yes,
So yeah,
Durango,
moving on.
West Tech, phenomenal talent. This is going to be explosive. It's going to be gross. 2 MVP candidates versus just a swarm of people who deserve recognition at this second. Like just right now, what Iago and Tabs and Hannah and Ashley throw in Aaron, what these guys and gals are doing over there is really cool. Like this is a cool story. West Tech is surging. Okay, now,
Yep, last one, Basic and Cheyenne.
yeah. So in this matchup, we have a funky, fresh, artsy team. That's all I can call Cheyenne because of how unique they feel to me. They're a one of a kind. We'll never see them again team, as legitimately as it is false. But or it sounds like a hyperbole, I should say. But anyway, Cheyenne is a very unique team right now, going up against a basic team that has been cool like the other side of the pillow for the last 4 years to a T. These are the kids who have been the face of this basic squad for this long. Like they are the grizzled old vets in this league in this form. They're more grizzled than an ATECH even. So this is a really fun matchup, a wild card matchup to me because it could steal best show of the week because we know we're going to see good scene work from basic. They're not going to fall apart now. Cheyenne's going to need to bring not just their usual off kilter, off color, kind of offbeat humor. They're also going to need to bring some good quality steak to that sizzle. And it's going to be fun to see if they can rise to it. And like basic last week we said, throw in a little bit of extra this, maybe some bonus Jacob, and maybe a little bit off the textbook. And guys, I think you just did that and you stood, you delivered, you just look great. You look great. So man, what do you think, Kopy?
This is going to mean something different to both teams, but I think this is probably your key this week is discipline and execution. Um, and both of you have very strong discipline, and now let's see if we can execute that discipline. So
Unless you're Sam Umholtz, apparently.
if I mean that's what I'm going to give the two of you. I think you know what to do with it. I know how your teams operate. I know what your coaches think. Best of luck to you.
And there you go. That is our third round breakdown. We're down to our Elite 8, and elite they are. Congratulations to all 16 teams who performed this week. Honestly and sincerely, it was a pleasure to watch the hours of improv that went into this week's efforts. No teams go away underappreciated, undervalued. Thank you for your creativity. Thank you to your coach's time and effort. Thank you for all of the different ways the league's saying what we do best this week. And I cannot wait for next week when we do it all over again as the number of shows per week begin to dwindle. It's only going to get harder. And it's been a blast breaking it down with you, Kopy. So we will see you all, Jesters Court, next week on our next Just to Recap when we break down our Elite 8 reactions. Quarterfinal time, baby!